In this video, Dr. Jordan Peterson explains how you need to be aware of the situations that are too good to be true.
This is another archetypal story. So there's these kids, and their father, I think, gets divorced, separates, or his wife dies, or whatever. And so he picks up with this new woman, and she decides she doesn't really like these kids very much. And that happens a lot, by the way. So if you have a step parent, you are 100 times more likely to be physically abused. So it's the biggest single risk factor. It's up there with having a drunk parent. So anyways, nasty little statistic. You know, it's hard enough to tolerate kids, but when there's someone else's kids, then it makes it even more difficult. And that's a Freudian observation, and it's no joke. And people are not that friendly. And there's terrible jealousy. Like, you know, if a man and a woman start going out, and the woman has children, and the man is jealous, and the children get in the way, especially if they also bother him because maybe they're not that happy that he's not actually their father, maybe he's just a creep, or, you know, you never know. Well, the tension that can build up in a situation like that can rapidly become absolutely unbearable, and it can last forever. So she tells her new husband, take those damn kids out in the bush and see if you can lose them. And so he's not very happy with this, but I guess he's wrapped around the finger of his new wife and not very bright and kind of evil on his own. And so he takes the children out into the forest and leaves them there. And so this is kind of hard on the children. It's like they're out in the wilderness, which is maybe how you feel when your mother dies and, you know, your father goes and marries a new woman. You're out in the bloody wilderness, and they get lost, and then they're lost, and they're all freaked out because they're lost, and they're going to starve, and wolves are going to eat them because this is like medieval Europe forest, and it's full of wolves, and they eat people. And so, and they're wandering around out there, and they come across a gingerbread house. Now, if you're a skeptical person and you're not naive, the first thing you think is, this is too good to be true. It's like, yeah, a house, okay, fine. A shack maybe, or even a lean-to, sure, that could happen. But a house that's also made out of candy, it's like, nah, there's something going on there that's not so good. You know, the kind of person that's really nice to you, but really isn't? You remember, again, the Harry Potter series? Remember that woman, she was a bureaucrat, she had all those plates of kittens? Umbridge, Dolores. Dolores means sad, right? Umbridge means to take offense. So she's the sad woman who takes offense. And she's got all these pictures of kittens on plates, right? They're on ceramic plates. And so those are like hyper sentimental. It's like, oh, aren't they cute? And they're on plates and everything, and we'll put them on our wall. And, you know, it's like really low-end taste. And the sentimentality is a facade, Jung would call that a persona, of benevolence. But remember old Dolores Umbridge, she's not exactly your benevolent type. In fact, you know, you let her loose on the world and horrible things happen. What's her name? The woman who wrote Harry Potter. She got that exactly right. It's one of her best characters, I think. So she's got that, you know, fake voice that you often hear people who actually don't like children use when they're talking to children. Oh, aren't you the cutest little thing? It's like, you know, you can actually talk to children. And they actually like that. And then they don't think that, you know, you're possessed by something that they should run away from as fast as possible. Anyways, so Hansel and Gretel, the woman comes out, and she's all nice, and she said, oh, children, you're lost in the forest. Why don't you come in and have some gingerbread? And so then she puts little Hansel in a cage, like a bird cage, I think, and she gets Gretel to do all the slavery stuff, you know. So she's not so nice, and then every day she's stuffing them well with gingerbread, and then she goes and feels little Hansel's leg to see if he's nice and plump so that she can throw him in the stove and eat him. And what that means is that beware of people who are too nice to you, because what they're trying to do is devour you. And it's the prime dictum of Freudian psychopathology. If you have a parent, now Freud concentrated mostly on mothers, because mothers are more likely to do this, because for a variety of reasons that we're not going to talk about, probably because they are oriented towards babies. But whatever. If you're too nice to your child and you do everything for them, what happens to them? Well, then they can't do anything for themselves. And so then what happens? Well, then they live in your basement till they're 50. You know, and then they get irritated one day and they shoot up Dawson College. So there's a deep metaphor in the story, and the story is, if it's too damn good to be true, it's probably aiming at your destruction.